Ethan, Lili, pleasure to be speaking with you both. Lili, how's your day going aside from answering the same questions over and over and over again today?
Well, you're our first, so it's fresh and yeah, it's ask me again in 4 hours. It might be different.
Okay, well, how much of you is there in the character that you play in this film? Are you similar at all?
Not too much. I mean, maybe Ethan thinks otherwise, but I think I'm a pretty internal person, and I find Alma to be quite a spitfire kind of a gal, and she's got a lot to say, and she's a little bit uninhibited, and she kind of just speaks what's on her mind at all times, and I'm quite the opposite of that.
I would also say, if I'll interject on this,
Please.
Lili is super sophisticated. Now, granted, like when you meet her, she has great style. You can just see, like she's very well
Of
put
course.
together, you know, attention to detail. And that's my first impression of her when we met at the cast dinner. But like, this is the toughest woman you will ever meet because we were shooting in the middle of the Pacific Northwest during a ice storm, 40-mile-an-hour winds, raining every single day. And Lili, like, that's one of the things I walked away so impressed with Lili is how game she is, you know? She's very put together. She likes high fashion. She's a New York girl, but man, she can rough it out in the wilderness at the same time.
A lot of compliments going to you, Lili.
Thank you.
Lili, had you filmed in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest much before this role?
I have not. And it was a real treat because it's absolutely stunning, and I really enjoyed my time there. I
Had you ever been there before?
No, I've never been there. It is, have you have?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there, and it was incredible. I just wish it was a little bit warmer, but I can at least talk about the fact that we were there in their first ice storm in 100 years. And then my project soon after that, I was in 120-degree weather. So it kind of neutralized it.
Wow.
I
Okay,
remember
Ethan. Uh,
we were supposed to do this film right before the actors strike,
sure.
and it was slated to start shooting in July. And I remember when we went on hold, and then we heard that we were going in January. And I was really curious about what the script edits would be because we're in lakes, we're in rivers, we're soaking wet half the time. I was like, what are they going to do? Because that water is such an important part of the story. How are they going to change it for a winter environment? And they didn't. They didn't change it.
It happens to the best of us. And Ethan, if I can throw the stock question that I threw at Lili before, the
Yeah,
Ren character, is there
yeah.
any of Ren in you? Because, like I'm sure most people watching this film, like myself, have been watching you in movies for decades. So we don't always know who the real Ethan is.
I have a theory that there's parts of us in all of the characters that we play. What I do is whenever I'm reading something from the very first time, I find the things that I identify with,
Mhm.
because that helps me assimilate that character. And I think that we all have tendencies, beliefs, instincts, and reflexes that we don't immediately acknowledge.
Yeah.
We try not to let those the bad ones run our lives, but I think they're there. So for me, Ren, he's very egotistical.
Mhm.
And while it's hard for me to admit it, I think that I do have a strong ego. So I find my own ego, the dark parts of my own ego, to identify with the dark parts of his. So the short version is, yeah, of course, because I'm in every character. I'm in the
Okay.
socially
Well,
awkward characters from the 90s. I'm in the, I'm in the snobby character. Like I'm in all of it. It's just I take that part and put it in the front.
Well, I'm going to come back to that as part of my last question for you, Ethan, but back to you, Lili. So, despite the weather challenges, the new settings, and all of that, it sounds like it was a pleasure to film this. And the reason I say is because with a horror film, you never know if half the cast is going to be in character and dealing with the spookiness, or if people are just going to be laughing the second that they say cut.
We pretty much did all of that. I think what made that project so special and such a treat was because not only were we in a great location, but Ethan and I had a load of fun filming together. And on some off days or prep days, we really took the time to get to know each other and build our relationship and build our chemistry together. So, yeah, and it was a really good group of people. And yes, we did laugh a lot because Michael is the king of comedy as well. So he knows everything about the rhythm that is required to do both comedy and horror.
But he
I
won't
was a
admit
fan.
that it's a comedy. This is a running thing Michael and I have. He doesn't admit it's a comedy. And like half his cast are comedians.
Yes.
It's a comedy.
So I was first familiar with Michael's work from watching The State and Reno 911 and Let's Go to
Right.
Prison and all that. So
Yeah.
Ethan, did you know Michael before this particular role?
Not personally, but like you, I had known his work. But no, not personally. But to tag on to what Lili was saying about the experience of making it, we because the schedule was so tight, I think we narrowed it down to 17 or 18 days of shooting. So, and the scenes, they're complex, and we were doing a high page count so that we were avoiding figuring out the scenes on set when we should be shooting them on set. Numerous times a week, we'd go over to Michael's house and have a dinner and sit and talk about the next day's work. And for as great as he is at comedy, he's also really in touch with the more serious aspects of humanity and the way that he's able to communicate the subtext and like what I needed to be emotionally attached to certain elements and relationships, how they work. He's a smart dude. He's a very, very smart man. I would even call him like he's a film savant. Like the things that he knows about and the references and how he can tie his what's inspiring him about a certain project.
Sure.
He's very detail oriented, that guy. He's a lot of fun to work with as an actor.
Well, thank you both for your time. Congrats on this film. And Ethan, you can know that you were part of the thank you gift that my wife and I gave to all the people at our wedding through Vegas Vacation on DVD. Thank you, Nick Papagiorgio, for your contribution to the cinema, and looking forward to both of your future projects.
You're very kind. I hope you and your wife are having a lovely life together.
Likewise. Thank you, Lili. Thank you,
Thank
Ethan.
you.
And
Thank you,
Cheers, man.
Darren.
thank you, Anya. Take care.
Paltrocast.